Today we are going to look at the market cycles of Bitcoin, and that we have been into a little bit of a weird cycle so far. Bitcoin might be ready or is right now resetting itself to the classic 4-year cycles. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, and I'm going to connect the dots on some points that you might not expect. If you like the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click it on so that you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are also in the description. Without further ado, let's start diving in. We are now looking at the bull and bear market of BTC. All the way back in 2017, we had that top here around 20k, and then we just waterfall down eventually here until we were at 6,000 for quite a long time actually, and a lot of people thought that that was the bottom until we had another drop down to 3,000. So we had this really extensive period of time where we just barely moved, and it was just very low volatility. Then we had this one more drop down, and then we again had a very much sideways period. And as you can see, I marked it as approximately 120 days. So that is 4 months. And yeah, after that we just had a move to the upside. Eventually we went up all the way to 14k. Yeah, so please remember 120 days, then up to 14k. And then eventually we just went down again, and we had I think there was the Corona dump in 2020, all the way back to one more time 3k, and this was also just at before or after the halvening. I don't know exactly anymore when the halvening was, and then actually we were off to the races, and we just had this massive move to the upside. We shattered the 20k, and then eventually we topped out here at 6k with the double top, and we went down. So after we had the top here in at the end of 2021, we went down, and then yeah, we did not really have that long period of time where we stood on one number, and what we had in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, where we just went sideways for a while, but then we had that drop one more time, and then a sideways period. So this is again then the accumulation phase, but this one was only 60 days, half of the time of the previous accumulation phase. And the accumulation phase is really where just nothing happens. People think the asset is dead, Bitcoin, nothing's going to happen anymore. That was something of the past. It doesn't move up, it doesn't move down. People are just trying to sell it off. Whatever news is being brought up, it just doesn't move price. It's just flat sideways. That is actually when price is fueling for the next move. So I have to say, I was also a little bit surprised when we suddenly had that major move to the upside all the way towards plus 30k, because I just found that accumulation phase so extremely short. So I was a little bit caught with my pants down and thought, well, we just had the bear market and an accumulation phase of only 60 days. After a 1-year bear market and a previous 1.5-year bull market, we cannot right away start a new bull market and go all the way up to 100k. Yippee-ki-yay. I just do not believe that that is a valid scenario. So here we are today. Where are we then in the cycle? And let me quickly take the cycles here. You probably have seen this picture already a couple times on the internet. You have your run up, then eventually you are dumping down, and then you have that anger stage here at the bottom. You go up a little bit, you go down again, then you get somewhere at depression and disbelief. I think we are somewhere between depression and disbelief, because there are days there's just not a lot is happening, and there are days where people think we're going to go higher, we're going to go lower. Let's be honest, no one really knows anymore. But what I found interesting about the current time where we are in, so we're having here the 60 days, half of the time of the accumulation phase of the previous cycle. Like I said, find it a little bit weird, but now we also are in a period of time where price is just barely moving, because if I'm looking just at the difference of the daily candles, and look here on kind of the top left of the screen, you can see the difference at the end of the data there, what the difference was between the opening and the close. So 0.1%, 0.16, 0.3, 95%, a little bit more, 0.17, 38, 34. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. And then I was thinking to myself, well, wait a minute, could it be that we are still just in this much bigger accumulation phase, and that those 120 days are just being spread over multiple parts, multiple times in the chart and just not everything all at once. So not an extra 60 days here, but that we have smaller periods of time where we have that sideways action, which is then just part of that accumulation phase. And then if I start counting those days and start adding everything up and find some areas in the chart where there is just really no price action. And don't get me wrong, I mean, you do not always every day need huge moves in price. You can have, of course, a couple of days where it's just nothing's going on, but eventually if I then start adding up all of these days, then I'm thinking, you know what, these approximately 120 days that we're counting with, they're just a little bit more spread. And right now the price looks super boring, but I have reason to believe that this is going to change very soon, because the next data point I want to look at is the average volatility of Bitcoin. And if we're looking here at the last 30 days, that was 0.77%. In the last 60 days was a little bit more, 1.5%. But if I'm scrolling down and I'm looking at what was the average volatility per day measured over a period of 30 days, and then they take different parts of 30 days, look at just the last 4 to 5 years. It was always somewhere between 4 and 5%. So what does that tell us? That means that volatility needs to pick up to respect that very long-term average. And with that being said, then I'm thinking, well, if we now start connecting all the dots, we just have an accumulation phase that is just here and there spread on the chart. We have now a way below average volatility. So sooner than later, that volatility is going to pick up again, and we're going to have bigger moves to the upside than to the downside. A few scenarios that I'm looking at right now, and it's not a surprise that I'm getting pretty bearish at this level. I already said a few times, please open up your mind for the idea that maybe the yearly high is in. But something that we have seen BTC doing over and over again is just constantly taking out these lows, and people are thinking, now where are we finally now going to dump down, and are we going to get that mega dump? But then eventually you see the price is just picking up again, and I think this was also one that was actually pretty nice. We even had a little bit of a fake out first to the bottom before we had a run up. Look at this. A little bit fake out to the downside, boom, run to the upside, boom, run to the upside. Now it doesn't mean it needs to happen right now again, run to the upside, but it is an idea on a very macro perspective that I'm keeping in mind. Matter of fact, even in the bull market here back at 2021, we had exactly the same. We had that wedge kind of accumulation. Look at this. Looks absolutely beautiful, where you think now it's kind of done, it's a little bit boring, and then suddenly you have this big break to the upside and price just moves much higher. Here I have another one for you. I remember this one very well. People thought, is the bull market cancelled, or what the hell is going on here? This one really took weeks and weeks to develop. Suddenly, boom, moved to the upside. This one was a little bit smaller. Also a very nice wedge, I have to say, and then eventually also boom, move to the upside. So you can see that this kind of price action just repeats itself over and over again. And well, like I said, it doesn't mean that now again we need to pump to the upside. We can also just only go halfway, then go down again, because maybe people are long in this like crazy, and then eventually we're dumping down. But this on the macro in combination with super low volatility at the moment, and I'm thinking we mathematically speaking, we need to start picking up the volatility again just to respect that long-term average, because even now also here you can see in the bear markets that volatility, the percentage move per day, it is just being respected. It doesn't really matter if it's a bull market, it's a bear market, it doesn't matter. So you can see that it's always between 4 and 5%, and knowing that that's the average volatility, and like I just said, we had 0.1, 0.2%, that pulls the volatility per day down. So therefore I'm saying very soon again, we are most likely going to get a big move. On the macro, and this is not a secret, I have been saying this already a couple times, I'm becoming pretty bearish, also because we had already a pretty big move from the bottom here, almost 100% rise from the bear market bottom. And I'm thinking, well, it's probably time for us to go lower. And we're also seeing it here on the weekly market. Cipher is giving us a bearish divergence This can take weeks and weeks to play out, because let's be honest, it also took us weeks and weeks to form. But I also mentioned already a couple times, I really see also volume here dying out, and at the same time we're seeing that the VWAP is crossing to the downside. Money flow probably wants to roll over. RSIs, those are the two color coded lines, they are split, so that means it is lacking strength. If they were together, that means the move to the upside or the downside, wherever we're in, is very strong. But right now we don't have any of that, and therefore I'm thinking, well, we probably gonna go lower in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. Major targets I'm then looking out for, of course, is first taking out this high and then taking out this high. Let's see how far we can go. I'm still believing that on a little bit of a smaller time frame, and we talked about this already a couple times this week, we can still push out a few green candles on a daily. Matter of fact, like I said, we can even take out the liquidity here and then go down, or maybe even touch the top once again and then go down. That weekly bearish divergence will still play out. It will take maybe even a couple of months, September, October, November, until that has completely played out. So that are now the macro things that I'm looking at. We're going to pick up volatility. I'm pretty sure of that. We might get maybe a move to the upside, maybe not, but I'm also slowly getting pretty confident that the yearly high is in. And I think that in the next couple of weeks or months we are going lower. So very soon, I'm always keeping an eye out for two scenarios, but very soon I think I will turn full bear mode for the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, and I will try to short every rise to the upside. With that being said, guys, I hope you like the content. If you do, then please show your love and appreciation by liking, subscribing, clicking the bell, clicking all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. Also feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are also in the description. See you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.